Running a small business is tough. Your accounting shouldn't be. At White Olive CPA, we make the numbers make sense. No jargon, no confusion, just simple, clear advice. From taxes to bookkeeping, we've got your back, so you can focus on growing your business. White Olive CPA. Simple, clear accounting.
Michael Wheels Parise. Today we got a special guest. Welcome to How Not to Bomb, the podcast. How Not to Bomb is kind of making a lot of noise in different areas. I'm proud to announce that today my new book, How Not to Bomb. It's a stand-up comedy guide for those who want to be in the stand-up comedy world. Just came out today. It's on paperback and on the Kindle version. You can get it on Amazon. Very proud about that. Also, How Not to Bomb is we're going to start the seminars. We're going to start coming around different cities and working on seminars and doing things, teaching young people how not to bomb, not just on the stage, but if they want to be comedians, the youth, it's a great launching pad. Also, it works in schools, anti-bullying campaigns. We want to work with the schools. We want to work with confidence, teaching the new generation confidence. Very important. I noticed that a lot of lack of confidence in the new generation. Antisocial, because everybody's on their phone all day like this, and they don't know how to talk to people in person. That's the problem. Nobody knows how to talk to people in person anymore. And we want to stop that. We want to go back to the way where you can actually shake a hand, look them in the eyes, and be confident. I taught my daughter at an early age confidence, very important at a young age to teach them confidence. So I think that'd be a good thing, and teach them how not to bomb in school, how not to bomb with their friends, how not to bomb meeting, new people in their life, teachers going into college and being confident when they walk into a job interview. And if they want to be comedians, how they can do that too. So How Not to Bomb kind of falls under this whole umbrella of different things they can do. But yeah, anyway, I'm very proud to announce that my new book called How Not to Bomb, the Stand-Up Comedy Guide is out on Amazon. You can get it. It's a nice book, It's one of those books you can actually write in too. I made it where they can do workshops and learn how to put a joke together and timing and how to structure the act. It's very important because nowadays, if you think about it, the new comedians, I mean, there's some good ones out there, don't get me wrong. But a lot of these books that are written for comedians, the people that are writing the books are not even real comedians. I don't know who they are. They took a joke writing class in college and decided to write a book on stand-up comedy. Who are these people? And I looked at them all. Not one credible person other than Judy Carter and Greg Dean. And even Greg Dean, I don't even know much about him. He's always taught a class, in L.A. It was the Greg Dean workshop, and I get it. I mean, it's always been there, so I give him the respect. He's probably learned something over the years, but I never saw him perform. I'm performing 37, 38 years already. I mean, I have a lot of information I want to hand over to people, and I'm not going to start a class. So I started a book, the How Not to Bomb book. I mean, I get aggravated. I see these comedians, they got like six strong minutes, on TikTok, Instagram. They have a reel. They got like millions of views, so they have this 6 minutes of material. That's not even material. It's all shtick. But they're not comedians, And now they want to perform and make money, like, personal appearance money, but how are they going to perform? They only got 6 minutes, and they're not comedians. They have no structure. They don't even know how to use a microphone because everything is done on TikTok. They don't know how to use their voice. They have no brand behind them. So what do? They hire comedians to open for them, to carry the show. They make all the money, and the comedian opening for them doesn't make all the money. They got to carry the show. So all these people that came in to see this guy, the TikTok Tony, right, are now let down because TikTok Tony only spends 6 minutes on stage, and maybe he spent another 15 trying to talk to people, but nothing's funny about him because TikTok Tony only came up with one little fucking bit that got millions of views. So now everybody wants to go, hey, TikTok Tony's playing this week. And then all of a sudden you get there and TikTok Tony's a TikTok phony. He ain't got no fucking material. Whatever. It aggravates me. I see this, So I'm like, so I wrote this book. I'm a credible comic. I didn't have to write the book. Okay. I didn't have to do it. But I decided to do it. And I wrote another book for people who want to reinvent themselves. It's called Now What Do We Do? You've hit that age now, 50, 55, 60. Like, you've worked all your life. You busted your balls. Now what are you going to do, right? So the book is called Now What Do We Do? And it basically shows you how to reinvent yourself, how to come up with something new and improved. I mean, what are you just going to sit on the couch and do nothing all fucking day? You're 50, 60 years old. You still got a whole life ahead of you. I mean, you can reinvent yourself, do something. You made a few bucks. You got a pension, whatever you're doing. Enjoy yourself. Why not make multiple streams of income? So there's ways to do that. So I wrote this book. It's called Now What Do We Do? So you got two books. You got Now What Do We Do? Available on paperback, and it's also a Kindle. So you got Now What Do We Do? And you have the How Not to Bomb stand-up comedy guide. And for comedians out there, that's the book you want. So that's the book you could take with you in your little backpack of tricks when you go to the comedy clubs waiting to go on stage at night. And you can use it, It's going to help you. It's going to help you guys a lot. But today we got a special guest coming on the show. I met this guy. His name is Gio Arretos. I met him years ago in Vegas. He used to own a chicken restaurant in Vegas. I mean, he had the best chicken in Vegas, Gio. Him and his father. His father's a great guy. I love his father. Best chicken in Vegas. And Gio, he's got that mind where he has to always, like me, you got to keep doing something. He would come up with products he would sell at his restaurant, like, it's a Chicago beef jardiniere. I know he packaged that. And his restaurant was like number one. Then he had problems with it. I think it caught on fire. Something happened. So we're going to talk about that today. But he rebuilt and he became bigger than ever. And his restaurant just took off. He did fantastic. And his dad is such a great guy. He kind of hangs out old school Chicago. They're Chicago people, Greek and Italian, So he'll be on the show today. We're going to talk to Gio because he also is a real estate investor, okay, in Vegas. He used to buy and sell homes, flip them, invests in real estate. He's a broker out there as well. So if you ever need a home in Vegas, he's the guy that can do the deal for you. He'll be on the show today on How Not to Bomb. He's had an interesting life, ups and downs, just like, just ups and downs all over the place, Now he's embracing the AI world. He's got a company called Blowout Growth. You can actually follow them on Instagram it's called Blowout Growth. So Instagram is at Blowout Growth. You'll be able to see it. So you should check it out. But we're going to be live here. We're actually live right now, I believe. It's showing me that we are. Gio should be in the room any minute. We're going to talk to him. We got a lot of things to talk to Gio about today. I used to live in Vegas. For 10 years, me and my family lived in Vegas. And I got to meet some really interesting people. Vegas is a great town. Like every 10 years, they change the sheets in Vegas. That's the terminology. What that means is, let's say you went to Vegas 10 years ago. You saw the Mirage and you saw the Tropicana and then you saw, Bally's. And then you go back 10 years later and none of that has existed. Now you have new hotels, new things going on. I want to ask them what's going on in Vegas. They have two arenas now and they have an arena and a stadium. I mean, there's a lot going on with that. So we're going to talk about Vegas and what's going on. I hear it's not the same kind of Vegas anymore. From what I hear, it's like they changed everything. So that's what I mean by changing the sheets every 10 years. So I think they're changing the sheets now, But so we're going to talk about that with Gio. And I'm really interested in seeing what he has to say about AI because I embrace AI. I love it. I happen to love AI. And I think that it's going to change the world. I do not think that it's going to take away from anything. I do not feel that AI is going to replace anybody it's going to replace people, but it's going to replace people and it's going to make jobs easier. So it's not going to like replace you. It's going to make your job easier to make it work. That's what I take. That's my take on it. That's how I feel. But a lot of people think, oh no, it's going to take away everything. We're all going to be, it's going to destroy. It's like Terminator. This is not a movie. This is real life. Terminator was a movie. It was written by somebody who was like 20-something years old. But anyway, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Gio Arretos is coming. There he is. Gio, where's Gio? There he is, people. Hey, Gio, I was just talking about you. I was just talking about you.
What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Good. So I was just telling the people, how you doing today? You're always busy, Gio. You're just a busy guy. You've always been. You don't stop.
Yeah, definitely.
You just don't stop. Like right now, you definitely got off something because I could tell by the way you're kind of huffing and puffing that you're like you literally just closed a meeting or something just happened. Whatever it is, you like went from one thing to the other, like, within seconds so you could be here. And I appreciate it.
100%, man. You know me so well. It's good to see you again. How are you?
Nice. Very good. Welcome to How Not to Bomb. And now we got Gio, but over here on the screen, it says the Blowout Growth. And I was talking about the Blowout Growth. But before I get into that in depth, I want to tell the people how we kind of met a little bit. And we've talked about it on other shows that I had on Don't Eat All the Meatballs and a few other things. And we're not going to spend much time on that because, we know each other a long time now. So who gives a fuck how long we met?
We do.
But we did meet on a guy who his show, I forgot it, Jay, right?
Yeah, Jay. Yeah, do you remember Jay?
We met on Jay's show. So Jay had a show in Vegas. He had a radio show.
That's right.
Jay's Rockin' Radio, Crazy Radio, and Jay died.
Yeah, what a good memory. He died? No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he passed away a while back. So, and he was into the radio world, and I thought he was great. But you could see that radio is going, and that's how Gio and I met. We both are guests.
We did that in his garage, didn't he? Didn't he have like that makeshift? I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't his garage or his third bedroom.
It was a back bedroom or something. Right? And when you walked in there, you thought you were like a K-Rock in New York City, and he had everything set up, from the 40th floor. He used to say all the time, and meanwhile, it's a little ranch shit home in fucking Vegas. But he was a great guy, and that's how we met. But I remember on the show, because I was really just doing comedy then. I mean, I had other things that I didn't talk about in my career, the restaurants and stuff. But I was just doing comedy, and I only focused on that. Now I'm just starting to focus on other things, and I'm kind of bringing it all together and kind of intertwining all my life stories together. Because now I'm 60, and I feel like, I've led that life, and I want to have people enjoy what I've enjoyed and kind of pass on some things. But and you're a very positive guy, so. We also did real estate together. We didn't do it together, but you were my broker at one point when I was a realtor in Vegas. But you opened up this company called Blowout Growth, and I've seen it growing. And it's a lot of it is AI. Well, tell us a little bit about Blowout Growth. What is that all about?
Well, it's interesting because what you just described to everybody about your mission and how your idea here is with How Not to Bomb. It resonates with the Blowout Growth Network. You and I have the same passion to be able to pass on that knowledge, this experience.
Right.
From very interesting and colorful background for both of us. I think that's where you and I, really excel in terms of how we meet, and we have great meetings of the minds, aside from the fact that you crack me up and you keep me rolling on all the time, keep me on my toes.
I do. I do that on purpose. I actually try to keep you on toes on purpose. Sometimes I text when I text you. I'm going to tell you a little secret about me. Sometimes I'll text you and I'll make it sound very unemotional. Just to you. I only do that to you. I fuck with you.
You do.
I want you to learn. There's certain things I really, because you have it in you. You got like this crazy way about you that reminds me a lot about me. And also anybody who's successful and does really well in any kind of business has a kind of a crazy mind, and you got this way, and you're always creating something. So I like to throw it in and kind of I like to be short with you on certain things. I do that on purpose, by the way. I love you.
Well, I mean, I love you too. I think it's one of the best things about working with you over the years and being your friend on top of it and actually just what I enjoy about New Yorkers in general is the ability to cut right to the chase, to get right down to business really quickly. Yeah, I mean, you're very, very direct, and I think it's actually an asset and some people don't think of it that way, but I do. I think it's an asset.
Yeah, I do too.
Because being concise, and although in today's world you do need to know how to wear different coats and different hats, and you need to be able to read the room, which is a lot about how not to bomb is, how to read the room and how to know your audience and kind of,
control,
be able to, be able to control and, adapt, in real time to your audience and to what you're doing. And that all kind of comes together with a body of knowledge. Right. And that's what you're trying to create here. That's what we're doing. My Blowout Growth Network is something that I actually started as a philanthropy. And it's grown a little bit.
I see it.
The idea was, I think this morning, we got about 128,000 followers on Instagram right now. Our TikTok,
Beautiful.
We just started a couple of weeks ago, and it's already taken off.
Very
had
good.
a couple, I think we saw we had 40,000 views on our How Not to Bomb video.
32,000. I looked at it last night. 32,000. So you're up to 40,000 now. So that's growing rapidly.
I think it was like 42 or something like that. And I guess all it shows though is that the message, the people that want to have the information are really out there. The audience is out there, and so that's where the Blowout Growth Network comes into play. It really is just a repository of information and knowledge for anybody out here who wants to up their game, level up their career, level up their life. How not to bomb in life, how not to bomb in your career, and it's a really great way that you've twisted it a little bit and kind of flipped it there and took the double negative out into it and really, because that's really what it is though. It's almost like walking through a minefield, right, Wheels? Sure. Like you just, you really don't know where that next step is going to be. It could be on a mine. You don't know.
You never
know. That's how you not to bomb.
You got to really be precise. You got to be calculated in this world, even though you don't want to appear too calculated, because appearing too calculated can sour a deal. But you have to be very calculated behind the scenes. But I was talking about earlier with you is you had a restaurant back in the day, and I was telling them it was like the number one, like the hottest chicken in Vegas. I mean, first of all, the word chicken is very funny. So it's not easy to talk about a restaurant when you say the word chicken. It's just because chicken's a funny word. So it's like I could say you had like the number one restaurant in Vegas, but you had the number one chicken restaurant in all of Las Vegas. And I just think it sounds funny. Chicken.
It was actually affectionately called the chicken joint, by the way. The best chicken joint in Vegas. Yeah, for 19 years straight.
Yeah, you had like this crazy, and I used to go there actually. I think I went there before I met you, and we didn't know each other. And then I went there after I met you. But I would go there. I loved your chicken. And your father was just the greatest guy to hang with because he's old school Chicago. He's got that way about him. He doesn't change for nobody. He don't give a shit who you are, whatever.
Shout out to Uncle Teddy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no. And then we put the Italian beefs in. Do you remember? We put the Italian beefs in.
I was talking about that before you
shut it down.
I was talking about the Italian beef, but then where your entrepreneur mind went was, let me develop the Jardiniere. And you developed the Jardiniere, and you were bottling the Jardiniere for a while there.
Yeah.
And then you were selling, and that was taken off.
Yeah. And that was actually my first foray, if you will, into retail, of actually bringing a product from concept into actual retail stores. We're in a number of grocery stores for a period of time, and that was a real grind.
Oh yeah,
because it was what I learned really quickly that I didn't know in advance. Certainly didn't have the technology of the time to be able to lead or guide me that we do today. But didn't realize I was getting myself into such a small margin business.
It is
with a tremendous amount of inventory. It was an inventory heavy. It had time frames on it because it was a salad. It was a dressing. Our Jardiniere, which we used to call the G, it had a longer shelf life, but we were also doing salad dressings. We had an expanded product line. We had a whole bunch of SKUs.
Were you using a co-packer? Or were you doing everything there?
Well, some of it was co-packed, and the Jardiniere we did on site. But all the dressings were done co-packed. So yeah, we worked with a number of different co-packers because then we expanded. We were doing seasonings. We had a whole product line of SKUs that, it was interesting. It did give me a ton of experience into a world that is an incredibly difficult world to get into.
Let me ask you this, Gio.
Do
you think back then, if we had then what we have now as far as AI and everything, do you think it was something that you would have done differently, or do you think it would have escalated quicker? Because it was already escalating, but do you think you would have been able to take it to that next level even faster?
What a great question. And I think you'd agree with my answer on this one. I think that you could say yes to any question that you put that topic on, Because if you really do want to achieve pretty much anything, if you're trying to advance an initiative, you're trying to push forward in a business, or you're trying to make yourself better in some way, even if it's just personal, you want to improve your personal relationships, it can help in that way. The technology that we have nowadays, if you really learn how to interact with it, or if you work with somebody like myself that interacts with it on a regular basis, I think it gives you superpowers. I think you literally have superpowers, and I think that the advantages that the technology of our time offers, you really can. You know what it is? Here's what I like to say, Michael. It actually time warps you. Okay.
Yeah.
It can take you from where you are to where you want to be, and shrink that amount of time that you can get there. And it does that in a number of different ways, kind of supercharging you with different abilities. So I think the answer to your question is, would I have chosen to do the business? Would I have chosen to go that path if I had the information that I have now, or the power that I have now with the information that we have? I probably wouldn't have, because I would have been able to sniff out in advance that it was, a really super heavy inventory business that had a limited shelf life. So you had time pressure on you to sell it. You had a low profit margin.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I would have been able to kind of sift all that out. And that's actually what I do now as an AI architect.
So in other words, right now, and I want to get into that, but I want to go into that for a second, go back to the chicken in a minute, but AI workflow architect is what you do, right? So you set businesses up with work, you do their workflow. And so whatever they're looking for in AI, you set up their CRMs, you set up their AI workflow. Is that, and then do you manage it, or do you just let them manage their own?
Well, so what you just described is a small part of what I can do, but it's really, that stuff is actually more off. We actually will offhand that to either the department that they currently have already and just teach them how to do it properly, or to do it in the way that they want, which is normally the best path, because now you're empowering your current people rather than replacing them. But sometimes replacement actually makes more sense, so you can move better people into better positions. But for the most part, but it's a lot more than that, Michael. It's on a level of most of my clients have been C-suite level clients.
Explain that.
Individual entrepreneurs. CFO level. So anything with a C in front of it, they call it C-suite.
COO,
CEO, CIO,
all the C's.
A lot of C senor. A lot of clients, or on the flip side, I've had a lot of clients that have been in a stage of their business growth where they are going into kind of uncharted territories, and I've actually seen that be one of the more interesting applications, if you will, of how the power of using and integrating AI into your business or into your flows can really come. Because it's, a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to use it as a startup. Can it be used as a startup tool? Absolutely. 100%. It can do things that, like I said, it can shrink time. It could literally shrink time, and that's a superpower, right? Where you can literally
replace so many people doing things for you. It can do everything for you now. I mean, you can run your company for a fraction of the cost than anybody.
Well, and that's a happy accident, right? Because everything else along the way, it's not even that. The cost is a real happy accident, because at the end of it, what you've actually produced is 1,000 times better. Oh yeah. Than what you could have produced in a similar 100%. Situation with a budget that probably would have cost you, an enormous amount more. And that's actually another interesting point too, is that's another thing that I've been bringing as value to the customers that we've been having lately, is because we can do things that would cost companies, in some cases so far last year, hundreds of thousands of dollars on bottom line, just by being able to ask the right questions, get valuable and accurate information, and then take that information and apply it into various apps. And that's been just so, the short version answer to your question is yes, absolutely.
So like the Parise group that my company that I own, the Parise group, we do fractional COO, we do reputation repair, we do a lot of different things, PR, media, we work with marketing, social media marketing, and I hire it out. And, I do certain ones on my own, but everything that we do is through AI, and we bring it to the company. So we set their company up with a program. We'll do their CRM, the customer relations, and we set their company up. And then we also do fractional COO. Now, if I had to run my company 10 years ago, the same way I'm doing now, I wouldn't be able to afford to do it.
You couldn't. You simply couldn't do it, right?
No.
Because
I could do things so fast now, and I can run the company with like me. I have an assistant, and I have a person that works with me directly who does all the AI. He's like an IT guy. So I mean, geez, it's an amazing. But see, this is the point. How old are you?
I'm 49.
You're gonna be 50 years old. So you're at that point. You're at that turning point.
Yeah.
If people don't embrace AI, if you know, like years ago, and we were talking about, you were laughing about this the old AOL addresses and stuff I talked about on one of my shows. Yeah. So you always had that.
What was it you said? Eat my ass 83
eat my ass 84
or something like that at AOL. I think it was in episode 2. If you guys haven't watched episode 2, it's great.
Yeah, he's 70 years old. I'm like, let me have your email. Yes, eat my ass.
Is he 70?
Because back in when he started with the email in 1995, he was not 70. He was like, some fucking gigolo. Now he's now he's decrepit old guy. Oh. But what happens is a lot of these people, like when I talk to somebody, I know if the deal is going to be good or not by their email address. If it's AOL or Hotmail, we ain't doing business. You can't afford me. That's how I look at it.
You're fucked. You can't afford me.
You can't afford me. If I get a Hotmail come across my desk, I'm like, ignore it.
No. It's a hard no.
A hard no. And I really agree.
Oh, that's so true, though.
Because people...
Although, hold on. You made me think of something. I think it's important that your audience hear this one, because you did make me... We're laughing about something, but sure. It's funny to us. But I want to take that, and this is a point of the experience, right, that we're trying to share through Blowout Growth Network, through How Not to Buy. I actually thought the same way, right? And then I learned something new. I worked with a new client recently.
You did.
Oh, I mean, who doesn't, right? Okay. Honestly, how do you not in that?
Yeah.
In that world, you're getting email address like, oh my God, are you gonna? I mean, the same way people that don't like to text, you can't before. Anyways, I learned that some people will not do business with you and consider you legitimate unless you are sending an email from a domain, not like a Gmail.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they won't do business with somebody like that. And it's certain echelons, it's certain types of businesses that operate on that level. Yeah. But those are the kinds of little things that if you don't know, these little nuances in business that if you don't know, you don't know.
If you don't
How
know,
are you going to find that out?
And I agree with that. Like I use my email address. I have the PariseGroup.com email. So, Michael at the PariseGroup.com. But you got to understand also with the domain, I use that email for business. I'll use mparisi at Gmail for everything else because Gmail's recognized, and a lot of times you want to use your business email address. The application you're using doesn't recognize it because it doesn't recognize the server. So it says, "Oh, use a better email." Have you ever got that? The prompt, use a different email address, and then you end up going to Gmail or something like that because it's tried and true. So it depends.
Yeah. I mean, there are some nuances to it, but it was an interesting little twist because I had never heard of it before.
Correct.
I never would have even considered it either. And the reasoning that I got from the client was actually pretty good. Can't say that I would apply it everywhere, but it definitely, that's a little tweak. That's a little pro tip and trick that you wouldn't have thought of.
You would never, and those little things you don't think of. That's why we do this.
Is that Chris Rock? Is he trying to confirm his time for next week?
He's actually going to be coming on the show real soon. He's actually going to be.
I know, you've mentioned it.
Chris will be on the show.
Oh, that's exciting.
I got a few big guests coming on the show. I don't know how I got it. They're going to do it. But I want to go back to this because we always talk about how great and everything is, but there was a time in your life that I don't want to say you bombed, but you went through some heavy shit with the restaurant. And then you rebuilt that. What happened there? I don't even know that story. What year was that and what happened?
Well, that was a little bit before you and I really knew each other. In fact, it was not too far before that. But talk about how not to bomb. So the business we ran for, we had owned it. My father and I purchased it in 98. And this is probably 2002, 2001,
what was
2002.
It before you purchased it? Was it a standing restaurant?
No, it was the same restauant. We just purchased the restaurant, rebranded it a little bit, and then spent roughly 7 years-ish, 5, 6, 7 years-ish, and then it was in an old shopping center. It was in a shopping center that was built before building codes were what they are today.
Right.
And so an electrical fire started in the attic of the building. and it burned the entire shopping center, including our restaurant, down.
The whole shopping center went down.
The whole shopping center went down. It was actually famous at the time that it happened in 2001, I believe it was. It was famous locally because the shopping center that we were in was like a famous shopping center. It was right, on a really busy corner, which is, one of the things, location. One of the things that, as a restaurateur really matters, right?
It does.
But I'll tell you what I learned through that was the importance of creating multiple revenue streams.
Exactly.
And I was a young man when it happened. I was in my early 20s, mid 20s, and I had, achieved what I would consider to be at the time a lot of success in that restaurant. For a young man, I did very well.
You were I
was rocking and rolling. We were in the middle of everything. We won every award you could want to win in Las Vegas. Best of this, best of that.
Every sticker you had.
Every sticker, everything that was on the walls behind us, all the awards, all the, I was Citizen of the Month for Las Vegas in December. I mean, it was one thing after another. They, wanted to vote me to city council, and there was like this whirlwind, right? Business was great. Everybody, it was hopping and popping, and it was fantastic. And it actually helped, Michael, for me to be able to build the network that I have right now.
Well, let me ask you this though, real quick. Yeah. Go back. When you found out the restaurant was on fire, here you are, you and your dad. And I wanted that day, that minute, what was going through your head as soon as you found that out? Of course, you're going to have the panic, but what was going through your head right there? The restaurant is fucking dead.
Wow. I can't believe you're asking me to relive this moment. I will, though. I'll relive it with you. I remember it clearly if I try. It was an early morning phone call from the police. It was 5:15 maybe in the morning. And I probably planned on waking up around 6:45, 7 o'clock because I normally would get to the restaurant around 8, 8:30. We'd prep and then we'd open at 11.
Yeah, because you have to 2.5 hours for rotisserie to get done, 3 hours sometimes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we had a lot of stuff that we prepped. We did everything fresh every day. It was a big operation, big routine. And there's this moment when you get a phone call like that. And I don't, anybody who's had, these tragic phone call moments in their lives, I don't wish it on anybody. It's not, but there's a moment of like, where it's surreal, like, okay, who's fucking with me? Who's pranking me? Okay. This is the police. All right. This is Las Vegas Metropolitan Police. Or, are you the owner of Sonia's Cafe? Okay. What douchebag, fraternity brother from my past is ball busting me at 5 a.m. is really like that split second moment that is going through my mind while I'm trying to like make reality of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, then the reality moved in and they're like, how soon can you get here? And I didn't live too far at the time. So I hopped in the car, went over there. I don't remember how I was dressed. I probably was in, pajamas still and watched as the restaurant, and the entire shopping center burned to the ground. It was a very strange feeling.
Were you watching it burn or was it already done when you got there?
No, it was burning when we showed up there still. Because of the age of the property and the fact that it wasn't built up to what, a code should be. There were so many things they had to do to stop the fire. Like, nowadays building codes build things so that they burn in different ways. They make it easier to contain and stuff like that. So yeah, we did. We watched it burn all morning, and then they finally got it subdued. And I'll never forget this experience in my life. There was the fire truck was there with a huge ladder that they can extend up, like 3-4 stories. The huge one, the truck, the truck that comes out. It's a huge truck.
That's down the called the hook and ladder. Yeah.
Is that what they call the big one, the hook and ladder? Yeah, it was.
Hook and ladder, I think.
And they took me up all the way.
Oh wow!
I went up. I said I'd like to see this. It's like this is hard for me to comprehend. I was a young man. My business just gone. I really don't know.
This whole time?
I don't even remember because I was so engulfed in my, he was stressed and worried. I remember that. It's a blank. It is a blank. It is a blank like that where you kind of just lose, what your reality slows down. Like those are those moments that, kind of time lapse and stuff. So I went up in the basket and I remember looking down. I took photos of it on my camera. And I remember looking down at this like pile of ashes. And I'll never forget that I come down all the way down. And as they lower me out, they had it all taped off and like roped off and stuff like that. And as I go out of the area and then I cross the yellow tape, some guy walks up to me and he was a reporter. And he goes, he's like, Mr. Aretos, he's like, what are you going to do now? He's like, are you going to come back? And I was so on the spot, like, you know what I mean? I had just watched from a bird's eye view, literally, like my entire life go up in flames. Literally.
Yeah, literally.
Literally. Yeah. And not knowing really what that meant because I was so young, you know what I mean? And my dad never experienced it like that, so he didn't have any guidance either, right? And so I didn't realize the guy asking me this question was a reporter. And he and the only thing I could think of said, I looked at him straight in the eyes and I go, Las Vegas needs good chicken.
That's right.
And that's what they printed.
So you
and
knew
then we
that.
went on to kill it. Yeah.
So then there's a time, okay, the smoke is clear, the restaurant's down, and then here you are, and it's you and your dad, or who are you? And you say to yourself, there's nothing else I want to do but make this work again and make it and rebuild it.
I mean, I'd like to say, Michael, that it was that kind of like motivation. I'd like to say that it was like this, fuck the world, we're going to do this, we're ready to rock and roll, let's go. But it wasn't like that. It was actually like 6 years of fighting with the insurance company. It was almost 2 full years before the restaurant even got put up. It was nothing but legal arguments and legal battles and going through what now is of great value to me because I bring that whole experience with me when I consult in business strategy with my clients to other businesses, but which at the time was a brutal, lesson to learn about the importance of making sure that you have more than one stream of revenue coming in. And that's why investments are so important. As real estate is a major choice for a lot of investors and such. But no matter what it is, and you and I share this passion of life and business and entrepreneurship. Like you mentioned at the beginning, I'm always going, I'm going and going. I bet you I came off of one thing, go to the next.
Right,
you're the same way too.
I'm the same way.
Don't pretend like you're not. Right?
Before I went on the air, I'm on the phone with a client.
You're like, I'm in the middle of something.
Always.
But that's also, what I think is the beauty of life and what makes it, very challenging and worth living is I love the grind. I love going out there. And as I get older, I love having all this experience to be able to apply, right? It's so much fun. And then the technology, I feel like I'm in this like playground world where you can almost instantaneously, in the grand scheme of things, create whatever it is you want.
You can create your own destiny. You really can.
Now more than ever.
I know you got involved in the real estate world. I don't know how deep you are anymore in real estate. Everything now that I see with you is blowout growth. So I don't know. Are you still involved in the day-to-day operations of real estate like I remember when you had the company?
Not the way that you remember, but real estate is still part of my business because as my real estate clientele grew and I was started to becoming more of an advisor to my clients in other related or tangential business decisions. So it became, will you sell my house or will you help me buy my house? To, hey, my business is looking for a place to rent. Can you help me find a place to rent? To, hey, my business is ready to buy this building. To, hey, we're thinking about buying a piece of land and we want to build a shopping center. Can you help me put that package together? Because then we'd like to either sell off pads or so it kind of just progressively grew with the key clients that understood my value at the time. And it's funny too. I don't know if you remember, Michael, when we were working together in that realm, do you remember my team meetings? Do you remember how long ago I was telling everybody, if you are representing the middle of the market, you need to find another job? And nobody liked that on the team. Do you remember? I don't remember. We had like 18 people at the meeting or something like that.
I sure do.
And nobody liked it. And I was like, I'm telling you, for you, if you represent the middle of this market, you're no longer necessary for a real estate transaction. You can do the whole thing online and you don't need to deal with an agent. You don't need to deal with some person that may or may not screw up your deal or may not have the best. You check the box, right? There's a million reasons not to do it, right?
Do you think AI is changing the way the real estate game is played?
The way it's played. It depends, I think, on what you're...
The way it's worked. The way it's worked on the buyer,
like how it functions.
The way it functions. Like when I was doing real estate in Vegas, it was pretty much MLS, find a client, find a house, get a listing, sell the house, advertise on YouTube, play a little bit with Facebook, and there was, it was just starting the
So I'll give you a sector by sector breakdown, okay, based off of the category, just so we can hit all bases. So for residential, what you're describing, is it a game changer? It's a game changer in marketing. If you're an agent out there and you are not using AI to produce your marketing materials or get yourself in front of people, and you're not utilizing those are things like what you talked about at the beginning, Michael, where they can, you really have these superpowers of being able to take these mundane tasks that normally would cost you more in time and money, and then kind of automate those. Those are like the basic things that people typically associate. That's called agentic AI. You're kind of giving them something to do. Great. Yes. If you're not doing just that, you're falling behind. That's the core right now. Okay. Like the bar went up, right? Yeah. Agentic is what they call that type of AI. It's not a brand. It's a type of AI. There's a lot of brands that sell agents. Think of it like agents, agentic. Right. Okay. It's just you're hiring these agents to work for you and do these kinds of things. You got to get back to Chris and tell him what time he's going to show up.
I didn't want to tell you who that was.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us.
He might be on the show. Another guy who might be on the show, but if I say it without him 100%, give me 100%. But it's AS.
But you should text me later. Text me later because I'd love to know, and I love the hype because you got some great. Yeah. You got great guests so far. Your guests have been amazing so far.
You've been a fan so far. You're killing with it. This is a great.
Well, I mean, it's not over yet. I may fuck it all up. We may crash.
You know what?
And burn.
You might bomb. If you bomb,
we might bomb.
Not to.
And then you'll lift me up and tell me what I did wrong.
Yeah. We'll have a team meeting. So, all right, so we have agentic, which I understand what that is, but for the people out there,
that's what you're using,
Yep. Oh yeah. And I think it does change. I think AI has changed a lot. It's just amazing what you can do with it. For someone who doesn't embrace it, I say to them, you are just missing out on so much. First of all, it's fun. It's fun to work it.
It's 100% fun.
Oh God, yeah. And you can just go anywhere with it. Like I have I do the Chat GPT, which I have. I think everybody pretty much has. I have Claude. I use Claude. I think Claude is very intelligent. I love Claude for documents and using it as a
they're good for photos too. Claude is good for yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. Just to jump back into it. So for commercial, you're going to use it for marketing a little bit, but really what you should be using if you're in the commercial real estate space and you're an agent, or even if you're just a buyer or seller, you should be using it to run property comps and run complex reporting to really, like, your commercial agent should be doing this for you, but not all of them really know how to do it. Like I
would say running comps should be amazing with AI.
It's unbelievable with AI, actually.
I'm sure
and if you know the right way to interact with it and provide, it provides, a lot of really useful data. Now, beyond that, in the industrial space or even just in the development space, like one of the projects that I've been working on recently that just hit the market in November is this beautiful luxury mountain smart home up at Mount Charleston. If you're ever in town before I sell it, it just hit the market for $2.65 million.
You're still, is it your home?
I built it as a spec home, and it just hit the market. That's my company, Great Properties.
And this where it's up in the mountains.
It's in Mount Charleston. Yeah, it's a 4096 Tyrol, Tyrol way. If anybody wants to look at it, it's called Seventh Heaven. It's amazing, and AI had a good portion of helping out the entire process from A to Z, from the build up. So if you're not using AI and you're in the construction space, or if you're going to hire a contractor for a big job, especially a building or something like that, one of the interview questions that I would ask is, how are you using AI in your business? Like, I'd like to see, I'd like to know, because if you do know, and those questions are questions you want to ask, that's a lot of reason why I get hired, for consulting, to ask the right questions. But if you do know, it gives you just an amazing amount of power in that space. And then, of course, Michael, everything else, every other part of real estate from there going up, from the investment side of things as well. It's a comparative tool that, you can use that's unlike any other. It really, there is no comparison once you learn how to use it.
You could be a small broker and do all your contracts through AI and have AI just say, I want to make.
Well, like in commercial, you should have it reading your leases. You should have it reading and reviewing all of your contract license and stuff. I'm not saying you eliminate the attorney. You don't eliminate the attorney. No. But you provide the attorney with better upfront information to work.
You don't want to eliminate the attorney, but I always say don't eliminate them. But if you wanted to, you can, if need be. But you want to always have
in certain circumstances. It depends. Not in all cases, but you can save yourself quite a pretty penny to get and those are there, and that falls into some of the trades that are going to be affected by AI. And the attorneys that are using that. Well, I mean, you've got writing, music, you've got anything that can be broken down mathematically, coded. So I think, musicians, and it's funny because I know you had a conversation with one of your previous guests about this, and I felt pretty strongly because one of my new clients is called City Ritual, and they're everywhere now. They're a local EDM is actually their thing recently, but they have a huge catalog of stuff from everything from like cruising the Mediterranean on, and a lot of it is AI assisted. And I believe that the artists that are going to be the quickest to adopt it, figure out how to incorporate it into their artistic flow and how to create that back end assistance that's going to help run the business more effectively, because it really can do all of that, right? It's the power of being able to employ tens of thousands of people that you could never afford to employ that will work nonstop for you without any increase in pay.
Yep.
It's
now here's the fine line between an art, but it is. But here's the fine line between an artist, and I'm an artist, but I'm also a businessman. And most artists think one way. So the one way an artist will think is AI is destroying the music. It's doing everything for you. Whatever. I want to see a guy drumming and all that. And I get that. And that's great. Great. I love live performances. But you need to accept the fact that the world is changing. And if you can better your career as a business person, not as a starving artist, because if you don't embrace it, you're a fucking starving artist. And everybody else is embracing it. And if you want to develop music and create, everybody's doing it. You need to jump on that bandwagon and figure it the fuck out. If you're still playing the drums on a street corner in 5 years, you're still going to be playing the drums on a street corner in 10 years. Nothing's going to change in your life. That's where, but I also, as an artist, I'm like, yeah, okay,
I mean, don't forget though, Michael, there's always, in this specific example, okay, I don't know that this applies to other areas such as writing or attorneys or, things, other areas and trades that might get affected. But for music, especially, I think that what you're going to see is that the artists that figure out the way to integrate it into their product and integrate it into their system users are going to be the ones that are going to lead the way in going forward. And I'm going to throw something out there. It's artists that would be like my top picks. I don't know who your top picks would be to employ this first. I'm going to throw out a couple that I think. One of them is Madonna. I mean, I don't know how she might come back. I don't know how old she is, but she might come back and be like one of the first like popular people that will trailblaze and be like, you know what? It's not as bad as y'all think. Here's the way to kind of let's try this. Or even, I don't know if Cher's making any music, but Cher would be somebody that would kind of do something like that. Who else would you,
any Barbara Streisand. I mean, I think even what's her name? Celine could be doing it, especially with her.
And she is very forward thinking as well. Like, did you see what they're doing with ABBA in the UK? Did you see the hologram concert that they put on? They put on a concert there. Have you seen it? If you haven't seen it, I know we don't have Jamie in the background like Joe Rogan's got to look stuff up, but I'm gonna say the audience should look this up because there is a performance going on, a live performance that you go to, like you're live in person in the theater, but on the stage are actual holograms of ABBA doing an entire performance. And from what I hear, I haven't been in the audience, but from what I hear, it's difficult to know that they're actual holograms. Like it's realistic.
I've heard they've done that with a few other ones. Michael Jackson and
they have. Yep. Yeah. Yep. They're doing it with a lot more now.
And I will say this: I believe that I've listened to a music that was completely AI, right? Which is open source music that you can use. Like I can use it as an opening song or all of that. I've listened to some music that was AI when somebody said, "Hey, listen to this new band," and I didn't know it was AI, and I'm like, "Oh, they're fucking great. Where can I see them?" And he's like, "You can't." I'm like, "Really?" There's some really good stuff out there. I mean, really good.
It's unbelievable how good it is. And you have to think of it in a couple of ways, right? The first way is this technology, as technology is supposed to do. Technology has now given a voice, if you will, to a greater group of people. And I believe that there will always be a place for live music and talented artists. I don't think the human element will ever go away. Exactly. I think what just happened is more music. I think what you're going to see. So, you know what? I had the same conversation. I know you're not a golfer, but those of us that are golfers out there
I'm actually getting into golf.
Are you?
I told my wife the other day, I said, listen, we need to join a golf course. I want to learn how to.
Yes.
I can play a little bit, but I want to learn. So I'm going to hire somebody to kind of teach me to get into it. I just, all of a sudden, at 60 years old, I decided I wanted to play golf. I don't know.
Well, that's how I got out to Vegas, was I was trying to make the PGA Tour. So if you're ever in Vegas, I'll be happy to go out to the range with you.
And that's a quick question. I hear golf is declining in Vegas. Is that true?
Declining in what fashion? What do you mean?
A lot of the developments that have golf courses, home developments, they're getting the old developments like in Green Valley and stuff. They're getting rid of. I heard they want to get rid of the golf courses because it's taking up too much space. They could be using it for homes.
Well, I only know that to be true on the west side of town with the property that used to be the Badlands. That finally, it's a huge deal. It's been in the news for years and years, and they finally approved, I think, the building of homes on that golf course. But I haven't heard of anything else, so I wouldn't be a good source of information for verification
maybe it's not.
on that
I mean,
one.
this is just all hearsay. What I'm hearing, just people talking,
Sure. But the same conversation between the PGA and the Live Tour, like, is the Live Tour cannibalizing the PGA? And, they're not traditionalists and they don't hold this. And my take on it, like the same thing that I'm talking about with AI music, is it's more golf. Like if you like golf and the Live Tour has more great golfers, it's more golf. And if you like music and you really like music and, and you don't care that the person that, like this music that you're really liking, you don't really care that it's not a human playing it, but you still are enjoying it, then it's just more music. And that's been 100%. The really cool part of, how technology affects things. I think, Michael, you bring a good point up with this. People are challenged with new things, especially when things are going good. Correct. When you have hit your stride, if, those of you that are listening that are not as old as Wheels and myself, those of you that are in your 20s and 30s that haven't, you got a little bit of life experience, but you just don't have the years and there's nothing, you can do about it until you get there. But as you look back, wouldn't you say, Michael, that it's a bumpier road than what you might think it is? And if you have the tools of the time and you're not afraid to use them, you can always progress through and you can always succeed. And in our day and age, the most amazing thing, and one of the things that I talk about a lot on the Blowout Growth Network, is it is really, truly possible to create your reality. You just have to believe in yourself.
First of all, you have to believe in yourself. AI or no AI, if you don't believe in yourself, it's not going to work.
Well, I mean, it goes deeper, right? AI is a tool. It's, it's not a solution to all problems, but it can help us find the solution to all problems.
Absolutely.
It can, and in that way, it's super useful, but it doesn't remove the human element from it, right? There's still, you have to believe in yourself.
Yep.
You have to know how to talk. I'm getting a lot of echo. I don't know if that's on.
I think that you get choppy here and there. On the live version to show people, the live version might seem a little different, but when you watch it later on, it's going to be different. So, but yeah, a little choppy and but not that bad. Actually, you're showing up okay right now.
Good. I feel like in this, generally speaking, in this world, if you are resistant to change, regardless, you get into your groove, you're making a lot of money, or you're real successful at what you do, or even better than all of that, you're really super happy. And you can say that you wake up in the morning and your time is your own, or whatever, however you quantify what success is for everybody individually. It's not the same for everybody, but however you do that, that is all possible. Right. Now, AI and the time that we live in allows you to kind of supercharge, almost like you're taking steroids, but it's like you become this superhuman. And I think that just we're in this time of transition and change in general, and because of AI and because of look at how much is happening. If you look at it, Michael, we're at this infinitesimal part of the stage of whatever this is. We are in like 2 or 3 years, and look at already what's happening and what's possible. You can't even imagine 10 years from now, right? Or 20 years from now, or 30 years from now. And so I think you're going to see that this is a pivotal point in the history of our species. I think that we all have to see the writing on the wall, and people are going to become irrelevant if you are not embracing something that truly exists, and you will lose out to those that are doing it, that are using it.
You cannot stop progress, and if you don't embrace it, you've stopped yourself. That's the way it works.
It's all part of it, right?
Yeah, I had a this kid who worked for me. He was interning for me, and he was young. And he goes, we're the new generation, we're all about the phone, we're not about being, everything is on the phone now. I'm like, you're the new generation, you're on the phone. He goes, yeah, everything we do on the phone. I'm like, I get that. I said, but you have to understand, you're the generation who's on the phone. I'm the generation that invented the phone. So
you've said that before, and you're 100%. I'm in that generation too. You're at the beginning, I'm at the end of it.
Yeah, we started this. This is what we did. We made this.
We paved the road for that.
We paved the road for it. Now, are they making it better? Well, I told them, now it's your job to make what we just made better. and you're going to do
Yeah.
that. But if you got to be able to do that, make it better. And I do think that a lot of millionaires are going to be created through AI. We're going to have a lot of millionaire businesses.
100%. Well, I mean, it's going to create more millionaires maybe than ever before at the speed that you'll do it, because if you apply it almost anywhere, it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, the cool thing about what I've been doing a lot lately, working with people that have these complex ideas, these complex problems to solve, that you would normally hire a litany of, team professionals to kind of give you advice, and then you would still have to piece it together on your own. And all of that is removed now. It's just,
right.
Here's what I like to say about it in general. It levels the playing ground for the first time in our human history. We all have access to the same information now.
We have the opportunity, every one of us.
Now it is just simply a race to who can adapt to it and implement it the best. And you'll see there's going to be an enormous disparity between the haves and the have-nots. Those who have implemented it and are using it to create, greater things in whatever initiative they're trying to forward, and those who do not. And you'll see a lot of people will cry and they will weep and they will, they'll be left behind when they're like, I should have done it. I didn't believe. But those are also the same people that, you see at the beginning or end of, real estate market crashes, right? Like the end of it. And they're like, oh, I lost all this money. Well, you waited too long. You got scared or whatever it was. You didn't have enough information. Nowadays, there's no excuse for that.
Yeah. I have an uncle, Sal, older guy. And I remember years ago, this was years ago. This was probably in 2000-ish area. He goes, I'm like, I want to email you when I go back. What email? He goes, what the fuck? You think I'm going to fall for that email shit? Everybody wants to play with the emails. He goes, everybody's got the emails. Meanwhile, I don't fucking do email. Go figure, jerk off with your email. Now, see, those are the people. That's that generation who just didn't want to.
Well, and it is. And that's the problem, Michael, is that I think there's, I think people have to accept that there's a good amount of people that are quickly becoming irrelevant. And I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm saying that I think it is an attrition rate, some kind of an attrition rate to our world adapting and adopting this new technology to our lives.
Does your company come in as a strategist? And I also do the same thing. We kind of do the same thing, strategy.
We do, just from different angles.
I do a lot more for restaurant businesses. But do you go in there and get them up to speed? Like I have one restaurant owner who's afraid of all the technology and getting involved in all of it. I'm like, listen, man, you called me for a reason. We got to get you up to speed, and this is what we need to do. And I'm going to. Otherwise, this conversation ends here. I said, if you're not willing to accept what needs to happen to your restaurant for you to be now, not then we really shouldn't be talking, because there's nothing I could do for you. And they have to open themselves up. Do you find that too? But they don't want to open, or do they open up?
I mean, you're making a really good point. And that's probably the biggest hurdle that I've seen so far for the companies that I have encountered. So let's say that the amount of people that talk to me that are interested in AI in their business, like, you ever see those memes online, Michael, where there's two doors, people that are doing stuff versus people that are talking about doing stuff. The people that talk are this long line, and the people that are doing stuff has nobody. And so it's kind of the same thing. So I get for every, say, 100 people that, contact me, hey, I would like to know more about this, that, and the other. When it comes down to it, really a small percentage of them actually are convinced in themselves that AI can better it. I think a lot of and the funny thing is, especially these companies, and you mentioned it earlier, and I don't want to single out any particular group, but the point here, right, is to pass on knowledge. So I'm going to pass the knowledge on. A lot of it is companies and groups that are run by older people.
True.
And
I agree.
And it's I get it, because and as me growing, I mean, I'm not your age yet, but you've been my age. I haven't been my age yet. Just my first time here. And already at my age, I'm seeing resistance to certain kinds of things, and being this forward thinking like I am, like I try to catch myself, and hey, you can't go preach that you're going to adopt this, but then be afraid of change. You can't do that. And so one of the things too that I think how not to bomb in life is that you have to be willing, and you certainly can speak of this as well. You have to be willing to fail.
100%.
And it's one of the questions topics that comes up a lot in parenting in nowadays in parenting. There's a lot of criticism of parents that are not letting their kids fail. And I think I agree to certain degrees with that. I believe that you need to know, you have to be okay with failing. You have to be okay with it, and you have to be okay with, but that belief in yourself has to be so strong that you take every failure as more information, more data, so that you can put out the next best version.
You almost have to love the failure. You almost have to love the failure part of it, because as a comedian, most comedians will go on stage hundreds of times and bomb until that one night happens where they don't bomb, and they don't bomb anymore after that, because they've decided, I bombed 100 times, 200 times. I'm just not going to fucking do it. So it's the decision you make that I'm not going to do it anymore. And then you figured it out, but it takes that one night, and then all of a sudden your life changes, and then you become, it could take years, but that's okay. No one said it was overnight. Every overnight success took 20 years to get there.
It's a long time coming. Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to accept it, embrace the bomb, embrace it, and know that if you really, like you said, if you really believe in yourself, this is just a small little obstacle.
There's a guy. Have you seen him online? There's a great meme online, where the guy says, if you knew, I think he does it in the context of women. I think it's a guy, and he's talking to younger men about in the context of women, but he goes, if you knew that your perfect woman was going to be 32 no's away, you were 32 rejections away from finding your woman, how many women would you go out and talk to?
Right.
You'd start going out and you would actually embrace the rejection, because you knew that I got to go through 31 of these before, right? Absolutely. And that's exactly how success works. Except the only difference is you don't have the number. You don't know that glass ball. With AI, you can get like a little bit of an idea.
Get a feel.
A little bit more feel for it. Helps you a little bit more, for sure. It eases the pain.
The vacuum cleaner salesman back in the day, Electrolux, for instance, hey, you're knocking enough doors, somebody's going to answer. But they keep knocking and knocking and knocking and knocking, and they're going to make a sale. It's like anything else. It's a numbers game, And you just
it certainly can be, and that's also part of the challenge of it. That's the challenge, and it's the beauty all at once.
Where do you see yourself going and doing in the next 5 years? What's the next 5-year plan for you and your company?
I've been having a ton of fun. First of all, thanks for the question. I've been having a ton of fun in my business with some really amazing people. When I feel like one of the things in Blowout Growth has been great as a side gig. I think, again, going back to the topic of how not to bomb, I wanted to leave here today with dropping some handles for people to kind of grab onto. So I got a little bit of a list. I want to make sure that we hit some of them, at least, just for the people. But I think you can appreciate the first one here, but it's consistency. And one thing I think you're amazing at.
Just real quick, you can get the Stanley now at TJ Maxx.
They're done. And your camera moved with you.
$20 They're done.
They're done. But you know what though? It had a great run.
Yeah, no, it was the greatest thing.
I mean, they rebranded a fucking bottle.
Next thing you know, it's right next to that fucking Michael Kors purse and TJ Maxx companies are finished. That's where they go. It's like the burial ground.
Did you see my video on my TikTok, my comedy TikTok, comedy clips?
Which one?
Comedy clips are. I think it's called.
I did watch your TikTok last night. I was laughing.
The TikTok with the it got a ton of views. I'll try to pull it up. It's on comedy clips. Anyhow, it's a picture, a legit video of my drawer in our house that has no less than I even say it. I said it's called Comedy Clip Vault.
Was that on?
Did
I see it on Instagram?
Yeah,
I saw it on Instagram.
I said we don't have a 401k plan. We got this, and I pull out the drawer, and there's 35 Stanleys in there. I mean, I think they did pretty well. If they're at the end, because now they're at TJ Maxx, I think they made their bank.
Yeah, $20, $19.95, price right at TJ Maxx.
Oh my God, I love it. But to go back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, I want to hear this because I know this is important to you. Because I don't structure the show, as you know.
No, I know.
But see how nice it is when you don't give a fuck what happens. You just go with it. So that's why I want you to get to your point.
Well, that's the beauty of working with you, though, too, is that you're open to receive that, and I think that's why you've had success.
Because you just don't know where it's going to go. Because you're a man of structure.
I am, because that's what I do. That's why I do a lot of structure.
So the fear of the unknown to you gets you anxious.
Which is why the City Ritual client with this amazing music that we just put out, it's pretty next level. You got to see, especially if you're into EDM. And if there's any DJs out there that are going to EDM that are listening to this, so do I. Then you should definitely check it out. Yeah, they actually, science. Have you seen the new scientific research that's come out recently about EDM music? PM between 120. No. Background. EDM. The beats per minute, if between 110 and 130, have scientifically been shown not only to heal but to calm.
Well, yeah, if you go
so
on
you're
Spotify,
100% right on.
I go on Spotify, I download some EDM lists for EDM that are strictly for focusing. So like when I'm doing work in my office and stuff, it's just there. It's on and I'm just into what I'm doing and I'm listening. And it's kind of like half listening, but it makes you get into it. There's something with the music that makes you focus. And then there's calming music. Then there's EDM like hyper. You can work out to it. I love it, man.
Yeah, I do too. And it's been a long time coming. The world we live in right now is just such a fantastic place. And I wish I was 30 years younger with the knowledge I have now, as every man does, right?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be fucked up if you were 30 years younger with the knowledge you had now, but nobody else had it, only you?
They're saying that time travel is actually happening right now among the elites, that they're traveling in and out of time. And wouldn't you like to go back in time?
Man.
And
if you were to go back in time,
know?
What period would it be that you'd want to go back?
My gosh, Wheels. Oh, gosh. I have to think about it. Do you have one prepared? Do you have your answer?
I think that I would want to go back to the 50s. Because there was so much going on there. And like, being a fan of like the Happy Days and American Pie and all these movies and the music, I would want to experience what the 50s was like for a couple of days.
That would be so cool. I mean, that was such a pivotal time in the history of our society.
It was the pivotal
1950s America. Yeah. There's nothing that will ever again in the history of our world be like that anywhere on this planet.
Look at Japan. They still dress like Elvis and want to look like the 50s,
I know. It's insane.
Yeah.
With their super clean streets.
Yeah. Oh,
and you can buy panties in underwear in the freaking vending machines.
I was there in Roppongi, Japan. They have
what was the most unbelievable thing that you could find?
They had like panties, like you said, dildos. They had, they had a fucking stretcher. They were selling it.
In case your buddy passes.
Yeah, it was called the stretcher, and it was like, what the fuck is this? $.
Guaranteed for one short trip.
Yeah, like what the? They just sell anything. They don't care,
Guaranteed up to 1,500 feet.
Yeah. I bet they got the Stanley now. You probably can get a Stanley in Japan. TJ Maxx is probably buying the Stanleys from the Japanese. All right, I want to hear what you have to say.
Man. Okay, so because I get asked a lot now that it's been passed around, AI is like this new thing, and I seem to be like an expert at it or whatever. I'm just happy that I've got this amazing tool that I can share with other people. But I get asked a lot because I say it a lot. I feel like, hey, it really does give you superpowers.
Sure.
And so I want your audience to take away a few things, and I'd love to hear how, because I know these things are going to resonate with you with the way that you interact with AI as well. But there are some key points that you want to take away, and the first one I think you and I both share is a relentless resilience. Okay. Mm-hmm. You have to have that. That's not an AI thing. That's about being able to get knocked down. In fact, that's the video that just took off with the 43,000 plus views. Right. It starts out talking about, how when you get knocked down and resilience, and here's how you get up, and here's how you do it. And you got to get up faster every time. You can't have the victim mentality. Right. You have no excuses. Just adjust and forward motion at all times. Okay. That's a key for how not to bomb in life and in business. The second one is radical ownership. In this, it's probably most difficult for a lot of people is to take full responsibility for your results, good or bad. Don't blame, just learn, decide, and course correct, and keep going, right? Again, going back to that first one, that resilience, right? Michael, I've known you a long time. We've known each other a long time, too long that we don't even want to talk about it anymore when we start doing these things, right? Yeah. And ever since I've known you, you have never stopped.
Never stopped.
You have never reached your goal. I don't want to. I love it.
No, I love it too.
I absolutely love it. Like I said, I wish I was just younger. And now with peptides, you can be, right?
I know.
Anyways.
That'll be on the next show. We're going to talk about peptides on the next episode.
If you could get a doctor on here and bring me
I got
on,
somebody who's coming on. I got somebody who's coming on.
I might have a doctor for you too. Oh my goodness. Right. I love it.
Know. Yeah.
And another key one is adaptable focus. Okay. It's stay locked on the long-term goal, stay flexible, on the path to get there, but pivot quickly when data changes instead of clinging on to old, outdated, or poor strategies. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, without a doubt. If you have to be able to know how to pivot quick.
Well, those are some of the key how not to bomb things, that are non-tech. But for technology and for AI, because I know that this is one of the reasons why you wanted me to come on and share some of the knowledge about ways that we can improve and give ourselves some superpowers. So I'm just going to go through a quick short list for you. Is that cool?
Yeah. I want to hear it.
So the first one is
superpower list.
Yeah, there's 4 of them, 4 key superpowers and how you implement them. I don't know if there's a way to share a screen. Is there? Let me see.
If I
share screen.
Yeah, I don't know if you can share it though.
Okay,
I would have to have the screen.
Okay. Anyways, I will. I'll just tell you what they are. First one is kill the busy work, and this is what we started with the first time we started at the beginning of this conversation, talking about offloading the repetitive grind tasks. Okay, this is where AI could really be for most people. You will find that implementing it in items in tasks that can be repeated or that you're doing on a regular basis in some fashion, all the way from paying your bills down to minute regular workflow tasks in a business place. Those are the kinds of things, yes, you can trim, you can change, especially if you're a small business owner or you're a growing business. These are how you want to spend your money. You want to spend your money on these kinds of tools because they will free you up. Yes, exactly. That's how you'll be able to free yourself up to go back to whatever it was that brought you to that point in the first place, because now you're no longer able to be doing what you're great at, that creativity, that taste, that judgment, whatever you want to put in there, right? So you want to give yourself more time, which equals more life. And so these kinds of things, when you get the right AI that you're working with, or if you get the right team that's working your AI, that's what we do. If you're getting that right team, you can implement it into so many different background tasks that are running all the time. I'll give you a small example, like a real world, non-vague example, but for City Ritual, for example, the music that we're working with right now, AI has been instrumental in stretching their marketing and advertising budget. There's so many different ways to implement AI into getting the word out for whatever it is that you're doing. And it's complicated for those that don't have the exposure to it, or weren't the early adopters like me and you. But that creates an opportunity in the market for guys like us to be able to bring in our expertise and our knowledge in that place, and that's what's happening. So the marketing is unbelievable. The power that you could bring to any organization is in marketing, and what does that do? It gives you more time so that you can focus on how you want to grow your company. The third one,
absolutely,
is you can see through the noise with AI. Okay. And this is a key indicator here. This is a key use that is being really helpful to most of my clients at this point, is that AI can turn chaos into a signal so that you can make better decisions and stop feeling like you're making guesses or coin flips, which a lot of, I'm using that a little bit esoterically. I'm getting a little feedback too, by the way.
All right.
And so it can be really helpful.
Yeah, maybe you stay away. How far are you from the mic? Yeah. Sometimes I can see the level went up a little bit. Yeah.
It might be me. Sorry.
Now it's perfect.
I started to eat the mic.
Yeah, that went up. See?
Yeah, see, you're right. So it helps you to see through the noise, and this has been actually imperative for my clients. The reporting, the data analysis, you can get through so much information in such a short period of time. So I'll go into a company and they'll say, hey, we want to increase our sales. We want you here for business development. And I'll say, show me data from your sales for the last 24 months. I want to see all of it. And we'll take it and we'll filter it through the system and analyze it. And we'll come up with several ways that maybe you didn't think that you could even employ your data to make money.
And that's what I do as well. That's exactly how I run my company.
That's business development, but then it can also be applied on what you're currently doing and saying, how can we make this more efficient? How can we save money? How can we increase output? And it's just limitless. So you can see through the noise, and it makes decision-making incredibly smart.
Save number 4. You're going to go to number 4, right? I do this. So I was with a restaurant that I was consulting for, and he wanted to make more money on his menu. He felt like he was overspending on it. And I said, listen, your menu is huge. It's a huge menu. It's like, you got 3 pages, fucking food on it. I'm like, you got to scale it down. I took his menu. I took his food from Cisco, his order, I put his order and his menu into my AI system. spit back a perfect menu and cut his food costs. It'd make him 27% based on the food and he saved himself thousands of dollars, and he's killing it right now with this new menu and his food cost. His food cost was at 60%. We got him down to 27% food cost, and it streamlined his menu perfectly. And that's
and you can integrate that, like with companies like Cisco and US Foods, they provide you with like those sheets, your price sheets every week and stuff like that. You can load those right in as well. It'll tell you exactly what to buy, how much. Yeah, I mean, it's these systems that you can create, especially implementing in places like the restaurant. And since we're talking about restaurants, shout out to Peter and the Annex. They're doing a listening party right now to us out in Chicago.
Very cool. All right.
The Annex, one of the best restaurants out there. The Annex.
I'll be out there playing the Arcade Theater one day in the next couple of months. So I'll come out to the place.
My God, you guys got to go out and see. You're going to go back on stage. I know you did the Black Box not too long ago. How was it? How did it feel getting back on stage? Did it feel amazing?
It felt great. I killed. 3 shows. It was like stupid. Like I never left the stage. It's just in you.
Do you have a video of it, of the performance?
Yeah, I do. I got some stuff going on with that. Yeah, but
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, you'll be seeing. I'll be in Vegas soon.
Yeah, well, I know you got a lot of big stuff that you're working on behind the scenes. You teased me a number of months ago with some big projects that you're doing.
Well, the Adam Sandler thing, we were doing something with Adam, and that kind of was put on the back burner. That didn't happen, but we'll see, it happened for me, but it didn't happen for him. It didn't come into fruition. Whatever happened, he put it on the shelf for a while. But there are some big things happening. How Not to Bomb is going to be great. Oh, before I get into that, I did write a book called How Not to Bomb. The stand-up comedy guy.
Yep, I saw that, and I posted it.
And I also wrote another book, and it's called "What Do We Do Now?" And it's basically for people who are going 50 years old and older of what they're going to do now when they leave their job. And it's called "What Do We Do Now?" And it's that turning point, and it tells you how you can structure your life moving forward. So anyway, those are two.
What to do into the real world. No, I love that, and I saw that you mentioned that in one of your previous episodes too. Can I ask, do you have an audio version of that book?
I don't have the audio version yet, but I have a Kindle version, and there is a paperback version that can be bought on Amazon.
I would love to hear an audio version of that, especially for people over 50 that maybe can't read anymore.
Yeah. Who don't
I would love that.
Yeah, we don't embrace.
I don't know if you would you do it yourself? I think you should if you did.
I would probably do it myself. Yeah, I like the way I sound.
Yeah, I like the way that you tell a story. You tell a story unlike very, very, very few people can tell a story, which is why you've been so great over the years with making connections with people.
I enjoy myself. I really do.
Yeah.
I enjoy.
Well, you're authentic, and that's another thing. You're authentic. You really, truly are always you, and I think that's one of your greatest tools in connecting with people.
Well, thank you. And you've always been the same way. You didn't really change.
I think it's a skill that you learn as you continue to level up in your career.
You've always embraced new things. You always went to the new. You always kept on going.
Totally.
You didn't stop in one place and say, "I'm going to stay here forever." You're not the stay here forever guy.
I mean, it was great. You're right. I'm never that way. Like even early, like when I was really first learning business, before I learned business, when I was in the fraternity, we were founding fathers of SAE fraternity at DePaul University in Chicago. And I was voted the social chair at the time. And our job was to figure out a way to become social. But we were like this fraternity, this group of young men that were all like, we were all in the business school or law,
right.
Or we had like all these kind of like related, areas of interest and stuff. And so it was just natural that 40 of us were going to get together and figure out a way to make some money. And we ended up throwing the biggest party that Lincoln Park has ever seen. 2 of them actually got shut down, where we made a tremendous amount of money. In fact, I believe, if my memory serves me, this is 30 plus years ago, but I think our first party netted our fraternity chapter over 50 grand. And I think the second one was over 100 grand before it got stolen.
Oh shit. Did they find out who took it?
Oh, we ended up, it was a big fiasco. We ended up narrowing it down, and I think in the end we do know who did it. But by the time years had passed and we figured out who did it, it was long gone, and I don't think anybody ever recovered. But what it did do was one of the first bombs, if you consider it, right?
Yeah.
Here we are. We put all this like resource in, and we were young people at that time, and look what we created, this amazing party that was making tons of money, bringing everybody joy. It was so much fun.
100%.
It was boom. And then all of a sudden, all this hard work for nothing.
What a shame. Well,
and it really taught me early on though, like these are things that can happen. You can bomb.
It sure could. Absolutely.
And you can have a bigger success.
We may bomb again.
Right.
I've had other podcasts that nobody's heard of. And I'm going to start a new podcast. I had 3 or 4 of them that they bombed. I didn't put them out. They're just close.
Yeah, but you've had some that were great too, though.
I've had 3 or 4 that were great, but I've had 3 or 4 that were not even, you don't even know about. That didn't happen. It tried, and I said, "Fuck this." I didn't like it. I wasn't enjoying myself. If I'm not enjoying myself and what I'm doing, I don't want to fucking do it, Gio. That's the way it works with me.
Yeah.
Well,
Michael, another thing too about how not to bomb, and it's something that you just said, and I fully share this with you, but it's that, resilience. It's that willingness to kind of get back up and keep going, because I know that I don't want to stop until I get what I want. Yeah. And I'm not going to stop until I get what I want. You can't stop me. You can't. No, you just I don't function that way. I can't stop me. That's the funny thing. You're
unstoppable. Unstoppable is a great word for us. We're unstoppable. That's a good podcast. You should start the podcast, The Unstoppable. How
about you title it Unstoppable?
Yeah, Unstoppable.
The Unstoppable.
And then you have the music to The Untouchables on The Unstoppable.
That's great. So what do you got coming up recently? What's next on I know you got some amazing guests coming up on this show. And what's going on for you personally?
Personally, I'm doing my daughter is graduating school now. She'll be a nurse in like 2 weeks. So she's getting her pinning, and my daughter making me very proud. My daughter's getting into nursing, but she doesn't even know that I know that she's going to be excelling in nursing. My daughter just excels in everything. So she's going to be amazing. And she's also doing Hit the Next Level. So she loves to do motivational stuff as well. My wife is killing it. It's opening up a new hospital here in Tampa.
Amazing.
Our life's great, man. We're just enjoying. I'm doing what I do. I'm not stressed out. I never was, never will be. I just do my thing, and I just know.
You're back in Florida where you belong.
Loving Florida. I'm going to get back. I'm going to get into golf. Maybe one day we can golf. I want to get into that. I'm wearing. This is Ping, by the way. This hat.
Love it.
It's Ping.
Love it.
Isn't Ping a golf thing?
Yeah.
I think that's right. I got it. I got because you ever go to those PGA outlet, not the outlet, PGA stores, the big ones?
Yeah, of course.
That's the only place I have good luck finding a great hat.
They got a big selection there,
and they have great hats. They just fit me well. I just like that. Anyway, I got this there the other day, but I'm getting into
nice
that.
One. Looks good.
Thank you. And the book, and man, everything else. And what about you? What do you got going on? And how can people get in touch with you? But wait, you have one more thing. You said number 4. You were going to talk about, right?
Yeah, we got number 4. Good memory. Well, I touched upon number 4 earlier today, but it skipped the learning curve. AI, one of the best superpowers about it is that you can really, truly, instantaneously almost download. I mean, if Elon Musk gets his way with the chip that he's doing with the Neuralink chip, it'll be just like the Matrix, where you could download something like directly into your brain. You want to know how to, do math, you can download math. You can do all sorts of stuff. And so one of the, excuse me, pardon me, one of the powers here, superpowers, really is shrinking that learning curve. And now we live in this world where you and I could right now come up with an idea, Michael. And if that idea has some kind of value to you and I, we could speed to market would be so aggressive and so well beyond anything that we could have achieved in the past, that anything pretty much that we apply this to will have more knowledge, better analysis, better reporting. And doing that all just allows us the ability to make better decisions. And so that's a superpower, to be able to make better decisions.
So those are the 4 superpowers. And before we go, real quick, did you ever have fun with AI? You ever just get in front of chat and just ask questions, so what I'll do is and it gets me carried away.
All the time.
I get lost in it. And it's crazy. Yeah. The other day I said, give me a great concept for a successful business in Tupelo, Mississippi that would absolutely kill it. And I just entered, and it gave me this concept. And I told my wife, I said, we should probably move to Tupelo. I got an idea. What the hell are you talking about? I'm like, no, I mean, look at this.
And that's exactly it. Yes, I do it all the time. My whole job is doing that. My whole job. And that's why it's so exciting doing what I'm doing right now. And why?
But when you say it's your job, but you ever do it just for you? Like, forget about the job. You ever just do it? Yeah.
Yes, of course. I do it all the time for things that are, in my purview. And it's just an amazing, I mean, you want to go down a rabbit hole. You go down a rabbit hole for the rest of your life.
Hey, do you think you think you can actually use it in golf to better the game?
Yeah, I already have. So I take videos of I do some coaching with some young golfers and my daughters too. They do coaching with them as well. And I'll take videos of your swing and we'll upload it into the software, and we'll say, I want this swing to reflect more Scotty Scheffler or more Rory McIlroy, and what do we need to do to create the hip power of Rory McIlroy in this swing? And it'll come out and it'll be like, look, she's not dropping her elbow fast enough. It needs to get tighter. Right. It's just think of it like it truly is a special time in the world, because you and I can think of anything, and AI will give us a path.
But why don't you take that idea you just had and tell Claude, write code for this and make this an app for anybody who wants to put it in their pocket to use on the golf course?
I'm sure they can, but sooner rather than later, Michael, I think that idea is going to emerge. And I think that's another thing that's going to happen faster than you could get on it is AI is already creating its own apps. They're already, you know what I'm saying? So I think there's a fundamental, it's good that you said this, because I think there's a fundamental shift in how you have to just look at how every single sector or industry, from going from the top financial markets, which I have tons of experience in, golf, business, all the way down the list. It doesn't matter what it is, all the way down the list, there is massive forward progress in every single sector going on right now. And so I think it takes a shift of how to navigate, I think is the right word, how to navigate whatever industry you are going to try to disrupt or try to make money in.
100%. Yeah. We're at a crazy time right now, people. And this. Get into it. Get into the world of AI. Where can they follow you? Give all the information of where they can get you right now and in what areas they can get you. And this is going to be rebroadcast, by the way. So. Yeah,
absolutely. And thank you for the opportunity to promote it. You can check me out on Instagram, the Blowout Growth Network. I think the handle is @Blowout Growth. Or on TikTok, I forget what the handle. I think it's also Blowout Growth or Blowout Growth Network. The symbol is a red background with a white fist.
And I will put it in the description for Spotify. It'll be in the description of the content. So I'll put all your stuff in there as well. So,
and just personally, I'll send you a link to City Ritual. But you can find City Ritual on every streaming platform out there. They just launched a brand new EP that they're trying to get played at EDC this year. It's a cannabis album that promotes the legalized cannabis culture around the country. But they have tons of music, tons of EDM. It just happens to be the new release. It's pretty awesome. Check it out.
Now, cannabis is not something you ever delved in, right? It's not your thing.
Well, I was actually part of deals way back in the day.
No, but actually,
so I do actually have some
using it.
Cannabis I've used for many years for medicinal purposes, for lower back problems that I've had as being a golfer, and for pain relief for long time.
I use
it's done me quite well.
Pain. Yeah, I use it for back pain. I mean, it really does. I mean, that's another whole.
It's another way that technology, honestly, is truly affecting other things too, right? Because the technology and the science on these strains and the way that they're creating new cannabis, you can literally, they're just scientifically tweaking terpenes and different kinds of things. Yeah. No, I mean, back in the day, you would get, you don't know what it was, where it was coming from.
Shoved up Paco's ass,
this is great. Yeah, you don't even know how it got there. It used to be Greek oregano. They put Greek oregano in it.
They burn it a little bit. And all of a sudden,
you're getting flashbacks from your mom's kitchen. It was crazy. It's at a different level, though, just like everything else that's going on in this world. The technology that is affecting this. And now they have things like if you can't sleep, or if you have certain levels of, if you're on the spectrum in certain ways, it can help you. Multiple sclerosis. If you want to be
creative, if you're a writer or you're a musician.
Oh, I mean, that's endless.
You want high end terpenes with that stuff?
Yeah. The applications of it is immense. But I thought it was clever that they chose to do an album that was promotive and celebratory. It's kind of like a unifying album from all these major cities around the country that are progressive. And I think, just as a side note, not that I'm promoting it or not promoting it, but I think that it's a probably natural progression that our country at some point or another is going to go towards. There's nothing left to tax.
What's the name of the album, and who is it?
City Ritual is the artist, and the album is called Weed the People. That's their current release. Weed the People. Their previous album was Just One Kiss. It also did real well.
You have him write a song called "I'm on an AI High."
Oh, I love that. I'll mention it next time I have a meeting with them.
I'm on an
AI high. I love it. I love it. See the flow and the technology, how easy it is to come up with something.
Yeah, man, I love it. So, well, Gio, it's been a great time. We had a good time today. I enjoyed talking to you.
Oh man, it's great to see you again.
28 minutes. I'm seeing. Are you actually in the? What are you seeing on your screen? Are you Are you in Riverside? Or are you doing your own?
Yeah, I'm on the Riverside app. No, I'm on your app.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you're able to see a lot. I'm just curious what you're able to see. Are you able to see like? So if I change like the what do you see right now? Let me see. Hold on. I just want to test this with you. What do you see now?
I see you. I don't see anything.
And I only see you. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I haven't.
Now
seen
you see a double
screen,
full screen, double screen.
Full screen is the only thing. Double screen has been the only thing that I've seen the entire time.
Like right now, you're seeing double screen, but you're seeing like it looks like a TV, and then I can go back to this one, which is just close up. Yeah, it does a lot. The Riverside. It's all based on AI. It's all AI generated. And actually, what happens is any kind of glitches in the system and sound and picture, it turns it into pristine. So when it's made, it's going to look even better than it does now for the live version. So you'll see it again.
Fantastic.
The rebroadcast. And of course, it'll be on Spotify and iHeart, Amazon, all those crazy stuff. How not to bomb people. We had Gio Arretos in today. I say Aretos like it's Spanish, but it's not.
You're making me Spanish. Yeah, you could say it's Aretos. It's Aretos, but I don't mind if you roll your R. You can give me a little Spanish. Yo hablo español en total.
And don't forget, people, you get them out to Blowout. You're going to hear Blowout Growth. You'll see it on the website. You'll be able to follow him on Instagram. Check out Gio. He's always around, doing a great job. What is that? Is that you?
Amazon's blowing up. I gotta go.
All right.
Great to see you.
Hey, thanks, Gio. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. I'll see you guys. Everybody next week.
Great to see you
How
again.
about the bomb? Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Take care. Thank you. Yep. See you soon.
See you soon.